pilots, and welcome to part 3 of our Scum ship faction breakdown. My name is Phil. To see all of the standard ships for Scum, please do check out parts 1 and 2 in this series. In this video we'll be looking at each of the extended and epic ships for the Scum faction, looking at their stat lines, general role in the faction, as well as notable pilots. We'll also look at our pros and cons for each ship. Scum already have an incredible amount of standard ships, but there are some missing amongst their roster. Starting off with the Kirax Fighter, Scum's answer to the X-Wing, with 3 red dice, 2 green, 5 hull and 1 shield. Action wise you're going to get focus, target lock and barrel roll. Now this ship has a really nice dial with a white 1 hard and blue bank. All the 2 basic maneuvers with the straight and bank being blue, 3 blue straight and white banks, and the white 4 straight. You also get the 2 Talon roll and 4 K-turn. Now this is a good all-rounder ship with some great pilots on it. All of the named pilots can be equipped with missiles, elicits and dual mods, meaning you have plenty of flexibility with this ship. It is great to go hunting a lone ship or just capturing objectives. Now we're going to have a look at 2 of the named pilots, starting with Graz. His ability, while you defend, if you are behind the attacker, roll 1 additional defense die. While you perform an attack, if you are behind the defender, roll 1 additional attack die. So get him behind your opponent at range 1, and that's either a 5 dice attack or a 6 dice proton rocket. He is also ideally suited to go chasing after ships with a rear arc, or even just flanking them from the behind. Next up, we've got Talonbane Cobra, the Kirax pilot if there ever was any. While you defend at attack range 3 or perform an attack at attack range 1, roll 1 additional die. Suddenly you have a 4 dice range 3 defense unobstructed and a 5 dice range 1 primary attack. Note, this is attack, not primary attack, so it would also count for proton rockets, so that's 6 dice. Talonbane is a very powerful platform, being initiative 5, he's a good ship to get stuck into the fight, especially if you're going to equip Fearless. The Kirax is a great ship and tough enough to go toe to toe with most other ships, as it's a pretty solid ship cost. This doesn't see a lot of play due to it not being standard, and Scum do have a huge variety of ships already. The loadouts can hold it back a little bit, but this is common with a lot of the ships currently in the game. Now let's have a look at one of the most unique looking ships in the game, the Star Viper. With 3 red dice, 3 green dice, 4 hull and 1 shield. The actions you'll have access to are focus, or calculate, pilot dependent, target lock, barrel roll to red focus or calculate, and boost to red focus or calculate. You also get the micro thrusters ship ability. While you perform a barrel roll, you must use the bank template instead of the straight template. This is a great ability that will take some getting used to, but can allow the ship to get into some very interesting and fun spots around your enemy. This ship has an amazing dial for some in-close action with all the 1 and 2 basic maneuvers, with the straights and banks being blue. A 3 blue straight and 3 white banks, 4 white straight and the 3 Talon roll. This ship is definitely a close-in knife fighter, looking to get in and around your opponent with his bank barrel rolls. With the Virago title, during the end phase you may spend 1 charge to perform a red boost action. It also gives you an extra shield to keep you alive just that little bit longer. Now this can make this ship incredibly slippery and very hard to pin down. With notable pilots we're going to look at Guri, everyone's favourite android. Her ability at the start of the engagement phase, if there is at least 1 enemy ship at range 0 to 1, you may gain a focus token. This really lends her to getting in close and getting a potentially double modded shot against her opponent. A good advanced proton torpedo at range 1 or some nasty talents, and this is not something you want coming at you. The Star Vipers are incredibly fun to have on the board, but their main downside is their costing. Guri is 7 points, but does have a 20-point loadout. Daelin and Prince Sizor on the other hand has only 5 points with a 10 and 7 point loadout respectively, so you have to manage either spending a lot of ship points for lots of loadout or less ship points for less loadout. It's difficult to try and get a handle on which one is the preference here, but the Star Viper is a fantastic ship to see on the board. Moving on to the medium bases, first up it is the Aggressor or Robots. These mean droids come with 3 red dice, 3 green, 5 hull and 3 shields. For actions they all have Calculate, Evade, Lock and Boost. The dial has so many blues with the 1 through 3 straights and the banks all being blue. You also get the 1 and 2 hard turns which are white and the 4 straight. You get a 4k turn and 3 sloop. These ships come with the ability Advanced Droid Brain. After you perform a Calculate action, gain 1 Calculate token, giving you more modification options. All of these ships have great abilities that you can share with your IGs by using the non-unique title IG-2000. You have the ship ability of each other friendly ship with the IG-2000 upgrade. Suddenly you can get an evade when boosting, a bonus shot with a cannon if you miss, or transfer a Calculate at range 3. Now this ship is strong enough to take a hit and mean enough to dish it back out. All of this on a medium base, which as we all know always fits its move in. It is really tricky to actually pick a notable pilot, as when used in combination they share their abilities, meaning that they're all solid. You can even run 3 of these in a squad if you wished, as long as you're running the IG-88D, and your only real struggle is which one do you leave behind. If you decide to run 2, you have 6 or 7 points left to spend, which can give you some good support for these bots. All in all, we can't wait to see these in standard play going forward, and we'd be very surprised if we don't actually see these released as a dual pack in the near future, which would be an incredibly handy way for players who haven't already got the robots to get 2 of them straight away to really utilise that IG-2000 ability. Moving on to the original Bullseye Arc ship, we have the Kimagila. This ship comes with 3 red dice, 1 green, 7 hull and 2 shields. For action you're going to get Focus, Target Lock, Red Barrel Roll and the Reload action. This ship has the inbuilt ability, just like the Scum Rogues, Dead to Rights. While you perform an attack, if the defender is in your Bullseye Arc, defense dice cannot be modified using green tokens. This is a really solid ability. Now, this ship is quite good for a medium base ship with all the basic speed 1 to 3 moves, with only the 1 hard being red. All straights and 2 banks are blue, and you also get the 4k turn as well, so quite a nippy little ship. This is a really good place to run munitions, especially proton rockets. With the Dead to Rights ability you can increase your chances of taking the ship off the board or at least seriously damaging it for a follow-up shot. With this ship, we'll take a look at both of the named pilots, starting with Dalen Oberus. His ability, at the start of the engagement phase, you may choose 1 shielded ship in your bullseye and spend 1 charge. If you do, that ship loses 1 shield and you recover 1 shield. Now this can be used on any ship, not just your opponent's, so if you know that the other ship is in the clear, you can heal yourself up. It can be a very solid ability if you also have a modded range 1 shot lined up, as long as you survive till that I3 step. But on this medium base ship with 9 health, I think you should be okay. The second pilot is Tirani Kulda, with the ability after you perform an attack, each enemy ship in your bullseye suffers 1 damage unless it removes a green token. This is just a nasty ability, especially if you have aces in front of you that have already spent their tokens. It can clean up a kill or set you up for the next round. Get this in a line on a swarm and you are dishing out a lot of damage. All in all, this is a tough ship with a really good set of abilities that pair up really nicely to cause some mayhem for your opponent. Even outside of the bullseye, a 3 dice attack is very good. The main downside of this is the low loadout cost with 12 and 10 points respectively, meaning you have to build this ship carefully. Let's have a look now at the G1A Starfighter or the Mist Hunter, another solid medium base ship with 3 red dice, 1 green, 5 hull and 4 shields. Action wise you're going to get Focus or Calculate, Target Lock and Jam. The dial is not great, yet with this one you'll get a really nice ability later. So you get all the 1 and 2 basic moves with the 1 hard being red, the 1 banks, 1 and 2 straight being blue. You also get the red 3 bank, white 3 straight, red 4 straight with the 2 and 4 K-turns and a red stop. Your named pilots also get access to the Mist Hunter title card, which will give you a cannon slot and also a white barrel roll, which on a medium base ship is very, very fun. Now this ship is a bit of a tank, looking to set up blocks and dish out damage at close range where possible, whilst using support crew to good effect. For the pilot on this one, we're going to look at Forlom with the ability, after you fully execute a red manoeuvre, of which you have, let's say a few, gain 1 calculate token. At the start of the end phase, you may choose a ship at range 0 to 1. If you do, transfer one of your stress tokens to that ship. Now, as we said, with this ship's dial, it's going to be likely that you are stressed, and this is a great way to get rid of that, making it easier for you the next turn, whilst also causing your opponent to have to then rethink what their next step was going to be against this by having that stress. All in all, we really like the Mist Hunter, and only owing to the fact that it's extended being the reason we don't see it very often on the board. Both named pilots have great abilities and a solid loadout cost, and again, I think the only downside is the number of reds on the dial. If you're not running Forlom, it can be really tricky to counteract that. Time for the final medium base ship of the Scum faction's large roster. We have the Skurg Bomber. With this ship, you're going to get 3 red dice, 1 green, 6 hull, and 4 shields. Action wise, you get focus, target lock, and the red barrel roll. The dial on this is best suited for those short moves, with the 1 straight and bank being blue, all the 2s with the straight also being blue. You get all of the 3s with the hard turns being red, a red 4 straight, and 3 talon roll. You also have access to the Havoc title card, which removes the crew slot but adds the sensor and astromech slot. As the name suggests, this ship is a great bomber platform, although you can add on a turret as well just to increase the damage output on this. It's going to want to try and drop bombs and mines for damage or area denial and force your opponent into a disadvantageous position. The named pilot we want to look at on the ship is of course Captain Nim. His ability, before a friendly bomb or mine would detonate, you may spend 1 charge to prevent it from detonating. While you defend against an attack obstructed by a bomb or mine, roll 1 additional defense die. Quite a nice ability, allowing you to leave a threat on the board for just the right moment to set it off, giving your opponent that will they won't they scenario. Also, it gives another way of providing more green dice, which is always a welcome bonus. At I5, he's going to be going after most of your opponent's ships, so where better than to equip the Genius Astromech to allow you to drop a device after you fully execute a maneuver. There are so many interesting combos you can do with Captain Nim, it is crazy. Now, before looking at the pros and cons, just a quick shout out to Soul Sixer, who can drop devices using any of the 1 templates. Now this ship fits the Scum mold really well and has enough health to take a few hits and keep going. With a solid 17 points of loadout on Nim and multiple slots for upgrades, he can cover multiple roles for your faction. Like the other medium based ships, the only reason this doesn't see a lot of play is due to its extended status, but when it becomes standard, expect to see it on the board a lot more. Now for Scum's only extended large base ship, the Lancer Pursuit Craft or Shadowcaster. This ship has 3 red dice in the forward arc, 2 red in the single direction turret, 2 green dice, 8 hull and 2 shields. You're going to get focus, evade, target lock and rotate as actions, which are all white. The dial on this is perfect for going fast. You get a white 1 straight and banks, all the 2s with the straight being blue, all of the 3 basic maneuvers, which are all blue. You also get a 4 blue straight and 5 white straight, and the 5 K-turn on this ship. The ship's going to be moving around the board quickly, looking to get its guns to bear on your opponent. With the Shadowcaster title, after you perform an attack that hits, if the defender is in your turret and forward arc, the defender gains 1 tractor token. Couple this with Ketsu Onyo, and that target could be stuck with 2 tractor tokens by the end of her attack. This ship is a big gun for Scum and looks to cause a lot of disruption getting into the enemy quickly, grabbing objectives and tractoring ships at every opponent to soften them up for the next wave of shots. We do have two named pilots we want to have a look at here. Firstly is Asajj Ventress. She adds 2 force to her stat line and has the ability, at the start of the engagement phase, you may choose one enemy ship in your turret arc at range 0 to 2 and spend 1 force. If you do, that ship gains 1 stress token unless it removes 1 green token. Couple this up with Lat's Razzie and you could be getting yourself a chance to change a result to an evade when being attacked. At I4 she's going to be a key part of your list and is definitely a ship for opponents to worry about, especially with 20 points of loadout. Next up we have Ketsa Onyo herself. Her ability, at the start of the engagement phase you may choose 1 ship in both your forward and turret arc at range 0 to 1. If you do, that ship gains 1 tractor token. Apart from the obvious agility reduction, this can put that ship out of range 0 for a 4 dice shot, making the tractor even more devastating, especially against those pesky 8 ships. All in all, this is another great option for Scum, with great offensive capabilities and high speed getting you across the board quickly to engage your opponents and grab objectives. Only 2 shields though means you are at risk of taking crit damage quite quickly, but with 2 evades you do get some protection there. And finally for Scum, let's have a look at those epic ships that are available for them. Again, these have not had the 2.5 treatment yet, but are still great fun to see on the board when you get a chance. First up we have the Sea Rock Cruiser. This ship has 3 red dice, no green, 12 hull, 4 shield with 1 recurring, 4 energy, again with 1 recurring. Action wise you get focus, lock, reinforce, red coordinate and white jam. This ship has the ability Overdrive Burners. While you defend, if your revealed maneuver is speed 3 to 5, roll 1 additional defense die. For a ship with no defense dice natively, this can be quite handy, although you do run the risk of getting yourself out of position. You get access to 3 title cards giving you either more upgrade slots or adjusting your stat line, but we do like the Broken Horn title, which adds 1 crew and 1 illicit slot. The ability, if you are damaged, reduce the difficulty of your speed 3 to 5 maneuvers, making them either white or blue, allowing you to trigger the native ability easier. Overall, this ship is a great place for some heavy fire with the hardpoint and dual crew slot, allowing you to ferry Jabber around to recharge all those illicits. And lastly, for now, we have the Trident class assault ship, or the Squid, the most interesting of all the epic ships in the game. This ship has 3 red dice, no green, 10 hull, 4 shields with 1 recurring, and 3 energy with 1 recurring. Action wise you get focus, red evade, red reinforce, white lock and the red coordinate. Now that is a lot of red actions. This ship however specialises in getting in close with your opponent using its tractor tentacles and drill beak. With the drill beak, if the attack is at range 0, change all hits to crits. With the tractor tentacles, if you have the opponent tractored, you count a ship at range 1 as being at range 0. So couple those up and that's a very, very powerful attack. And there we go. That is all the ships for the Scum faction. If you do want to see the standard ships, check out parts 1 and 2 in this playlist for those. In the meantime guys, thank you so much for watching. Please do let us know in the comments what ship you think should be made standard next. As always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.